January is one of my favorite times of the year because this is the month where I can set some potential goals that I want to accomplish for all of the months of the year. Usually I set some monthly goals the month before, but since I made a 2025 yearly Notion template this year, we're gonna go over all of my yearly goals first and then some of the monthly goals I've set for the month of January. Ideally, I would be releasing a monthly reset video that reflects on last month's goals, some new goals I set for this month, and then any life updates I want to share. But this video is going to be released a little later in the month because of some life changes that I can't wait to share with you today. I'm going to break this video up into 3 parts, which is life updates, new goals, and then my January reset. If you haven't downloaded my 2025 yearly Notion template just yet, I highly suggest that you do that because it is going to be free until the end of the month, and then I will begin charging after that, and I will be providing that link in the description below. But I've been really looking forward to making this video for quite some time. I've just had some life changes that happened that I cannot wait to share with you guys today. I am actually in a new setting today, which is very different from where I typically record. So I am going to be doing some adjustments with this video. It is going to be a little new, but I'm actually going to just see how this one's going to work out. I do think the background is a lot nicer than where I typically record my videos. The first thing that I want to talk about are some major life updates. If you haven't watched my 2025 yearly Notion video, I talked about how I was laid off for over a year and a half and how difficult it was for me in finding a job, especially because I didn't think it was going to take over a year and a half for me to actually find a position. I actually got a job that day and I accepted that role, which I'm very, very excited about. I didn't want to change the context of how I structured that video because a lot of the goals I set that has to do with finding a job does all pertain to the overall search of looking for a job itself. And I did have a lot of professional goals that do tie into it. So they are still extremely relevant today, but I'm very happy to say that they are going to be streamlined a little more quicker now because I now have a position. So I've actually been working since I think the 16th of December. I can't remember, but I've been working for over a month now and I'm extremely excited that I finally have something because it was by far one of the hardest things for me to get to. I feel extremely blessed and very, very grateful to myself actually for being persistent and just going through the emotions and all the things that I had to get through in order to land this position. So this has been probably the biggest life change for me, and I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the year is going to pan out, given that I now finally have a very steady streamline of income. The second life update that is on top of that is I had to buy a car immediately. I had to buy a car because it would take exactly an hour to get to my office, and I just cannot afford to lose 2 hours of the day in order to do that. So on the 31st of December, I went into a dealership and I bought a brand new car, and it was definitely quite of a process because I've actually never purchased a brand new car or never went through the entire scenario of what I would need to go through in order to even finance a car, or even just the overall process of even researching a car or anything along those lines. Everything just happened really quickly. Even with the job, it happened so quickly. I almost didn't believe that I actually had a job or there wasn't actually an offer out there for me. The process with my job was a long journey, but then same with the car, I guess. Rather, it wasn't really a long journey, but with the car, I actually had to make very quick decisions right away. And I think we were looking at literally on the 30th, and then we walked in, I test drove it very quickly, and I had to decide whether if I wanted to try getting a new car versus an older car. And I decided to get a newer car just because, I don't know, I just want a newer car. And it's all electric too. This is my first EV car. The sad part is I've only driven it 3 times because I do not know how to drive in the snow, and it's been snowing pretty steadily wherever I live right now. You might be able to see the snow behind me, I'm not too sure. But these have been some life-changing activities for me, and I'm so excited that these happened so quickly because I feel like these are part of the foundations that will help me drive into 2025. So I feel extremely excited and very, very blessed that I finally have these opportunities. And I'm so happy that it was able to happen towards the end of December and leading into January. I didn't think I was gonna find a job until like, I don't know, sometime this year. And I was definitely stressed out, but I'm so happy that this happened a lot quicker and came a lot sooner than what I had imagined. And it's been going extremely well so far. I'll probably talk a little bit more about my job in another video, but these are the major life updates right now, and I'm very, very excited. Hopefully you guys can sense my excitement. Why I felt like it was so important that I need to share with you guys on just the overall progress of some of my goals. Okay, so I think this might be a really good segue into my new goals that I had to set ever since I got a new job. So we'll go ahead and switch over to that. Like I said, I'm actually doing a little bit of a different recording today. So I'm gonna try to do my best and try to record from the camera that I have right now and then my screen with my laptop. Some of the new goals I set do pertain to work, so they are mostly professional goals. So we'll go ahead and go deeper into what those goals are that I set for the year. So like I said, one of the first things that I really had to get was finding a car for work travels. I should probably also mention that this car is specifically meant for, I guess, commuting to work, and so far that's pretty much what I've done because I've only driven to work 3 times. Because it snowed a few times, I'm actually not driving into work because I don't know how to drive into the snow yet. And also I found out with EV cars, there is a bit of a process when you drive in the snow, but something that I actually didn't know was part of an EV car. I guess it's called one pedal driving. I have no idea. This is a goal that I have to set right away because I really had to get a car to get into the office. And then the other professional goal that I've set is complete my 30, 60, 90 days of onboarding at work. So just like any other job, when it comes to your first 30, 60, 90 days, it is a little bit of an onboarding process. And mostly during the 30 days, I typically it's just your usual getting your benefits set up, getting to know your people, getting to know your colleagues, your managers, getting to know the business itself. And luckily, I actually finished this goal really early, so I'm very happy about that. Which actually, for example, we should just kind of open up and see what some of those goals were. So the 30-day onboarding at work, let's see. I'm gonna go to my complete pile so you can see what I need to set up. A lot of the goals did focus around my financial setups, my health benefit, other type of things that are typically usually done during the first 30 days. And then on top of that, I also wanted to get the best ergonomic setup for my office because this job actually does require me to go into the office 5 days a week versus my other job where I was able to go in 3 days and then working from home 2 days. So yeah, that was part of the onboarding, which was totally fine. But I actually want to open up this goal again. As you can see, I have 60 to 90 days as well, so I actually don't have goals in them just yet. Actually, I take it back. I think for February, actually I do have some stuff for February, but it's really not that important, I guess. I don't know. They're mostly about getting all my ergonomic stuff. This was a huge goal that I definitely would like to complete as soon as possible. The next couple of goals that I have here is learning my business product by the end of the month. So I actually have 2 business products here. I have own business product A by the end of this month, and then own business product B, or pardon me, business product S by the end of February. The way that I set these, right, is learning these goals by the end of these months. Right now, I'm actually up to speed and really ready to own business product A, which I'm hoping I can get that complete pass off by one of my colleagues right now by the end of the month. And then I also have business product S, which is a much larger product. But for product A, this is going to be a product that I'm going to actually own completely. Luckily, it's a client that I've worked with before in the past, and I'm super excited to be working with them again because I think they're very entertaining, and I have such a good business relationship with this specific client. I'm also adding a new business that I will be owning by the end of this month, which I actually didn't add into a goal just yet, but I'll go ahead and update this in a little bit. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and just update this in real time. So it's going to be on I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna just put January, I guess the 31st, because that's pretty much when I need to own it by. And then this is gonna be Q1. And let me see if I actually could get them all to align together. That'll be so much easier for me, so that you guys can see what I'm talking about when I have them all together. This specific one I'm really excited about because it's such a huge client. It's gonna be something that I will be allowed to manage on my own. Businesses like to hire internally into different teams, but I'm an external hire. Again, I think that's what I'm super excited about when it comes to owning specific clients. A lot of the times it requires a lot of trust and a lot of skills and ability in order to have such a large client. Another goal that I included, which is I guess a more personal goal, is opening an Etsy store for my Notion templates. Initially, I wanted to do this I don't know, I think I wanted to try releasing or at least opening my Etsy store in January, but to be honest with you, I actually might have to move this to either February or March or even Q2. I just don't know if I'll have the time to work on opening this store anymore. And I only say this just because work is pretty hectic right now, and a lot of my weekend time is usually spent either cleaning my apartment or just tidying up or spending time with my friends or my partner or whatever. A lot of my personal time might start going down, which I'm kind of sad about, but I definitely still want to make this a priority, opening an Etsy store of all my Notion templates. I've had so much fun with all my templates. I would really like to see this go further. And for those that actually have downloaded my yearly templates or even my summer, my autumn templates, whichever ones that you've actually seen in the past, I really hope that you find it really useful for you, and I'd love to actually start expanding this out into other platforms. So opening up this Notion template goal, I don't know if I actually have, oh, I actually do. I do have just that one overall goal. So yeah, I guess I actually have this set for March instead. Whether if I actually reach this goal or not, I do want to start expanding my Notion templates because one, I really enjoy making them, and two, I really want others to use it. That way I can be better at making templates in the future and learning about what actually works for others as well. Which in fact, I'm actually going to show you guys how you guys can do that. So remember, like I said, it's in Q1. Just to move it to Q2, all you have to do is just select that quarter tag, and I can even move it to Q3 if I wanted to, if I feel like I can't do it. And then another goal that I have, apartment lifestyle and improvements, but this one is mostly just around some of the things I wasn't able to get or things that I wasn't able to purchase during the year and a half. Now that I am going to be starting to get some more steady income, I actually did set up a goal of all the things that I felt like I wanted to get or things that will help improve my current lifestyle. I'm not too sure if I'm going to go too deep into this, but those are some of the new goals that I have set for the year, and I'm very excited that I do have some professional goals that I can add to for my yearly goal. And also at the same time, these are going to be the goals that's really going to help me set up for success in my personal and professional life. So also I have a couple of goals I feel like I need to get rid of and downsize, which is going to be intentional and maintain relationships, and what was the other one? Be more intentional and authentic. I feel like I can actually consolidate these two because they're so similar, and I'm just gonna combine that into be intentional and maintain relationships. But as you can see, I have 31 goals right now, which is quite a lot. I'm pretty sure these are gonna be goals I'm actually gonna carry over for the next year or whatever. But one of the goals that I actually do want to change for 2025 is read 50 books challenge. I actually want to change that number from 50 to 75 because I already completed reading 8 books in January, and it's only, I think today's only the 18th, so that says a lot. I'm almost at the point where I could likely read 10 books this month, which I think does warranty that I can increase it from 50 to 75. So I'm actually going to change this to 75. And I feel pretty confident about this because I absolutely love reading during my downtime, which in fact, I think I mentioned that I did receive a Kindle for Christmas. I can't remember if I did mention that. But if you look at the progress, it does say 54.3% right now. Just remember that this isn't the total of the 75 books I expect to read. I have not included all the books I plan to read for the year. I think I only have like, I don't know, 10 books that I have so far. So again, this is going to change as you continue adding all those books that you intend to have that's related to this goal. But I'm not going to talk about all the books that I've read so far. We're going to do that when we actually go over my January walkthrough shortly. Okay, so now let's go into my January reset segment. This is probably what you've been looking forward to or what you were expecting out of this specific video. We can go over all of my month's goals for the month and just kind of where I am with my habit trackers, in addition to a couple of other trackers that I have. But most importantly, I'm actually going to start off at the very home center of the page, and then we'll go into the quarterly pages right after that. At the very home center of the page, the reason why I'm rather doing it this way versus actually going into the quarterly pages is because the month goals are going to be set right here at the very front. And then if you kind of remember how I set up all the quarterly pages, I have all the goals set in a way where you're going to see all of the months that are in a specific quarter. So I have January, February, March, and we're only going to talk about January right now. So we're just going to stick to the home page for now, and then I'll just go back to the quarterly page in a little bit. I don't remember how many goals I have set for the month, but it's actually a lot, and I do have a few that I've already completed. Mostly definitely are reading goals, but I do want to go over what some of these actually are. I'm not going to go over every single one of these right now, but some of the ones I definitely want to highlight is find a female mentor. This one was a very, very important goal for me because in my last video, or rather in my 2025 yearly goals video, I talked about how I had 3 male mentors and I really, really want to find myself a female mentor just because I wanted a perspective from a female audience versus a male audience, especially because I work in a very male-dominated industry. Luckily, my manager is a woman. It's been so great just having a female manager with me. Her and I are always on the same wavelength. I feel like she totally understands me when I have anything that I want to address or any concerns, and most importantly, she's completely on my side. Even right now, I work with mostly men, and typically, I feel like women have to be really dominant or have to come across a certain way in order for me to really stand my ground. And she's been able to really help me navigate some of these challenges that I'm facing. And I'm just so excited that I finally have a female mentor or someone that I can really lean on. This was a goal that I was pretty surprised came a lot earlier than I had imagined. So I was very excited I was able to check this one off my list. Another one was learning a new skill. I've already taken advantage of learning new management skills, more specifically around my new role. I still am a senior product manager, but this one is a little bit more specific to a certain device type, and it's not an area that I'm very familiar with, so I took advantage of learning this skill as soon as possible because I want to make sure I'm at my best. Luckily, I was able to grasp a lot of the information really quickly, but I love the fact that we have the ability and access to this type of content and material because I think it's so important to continue updating your skills, learning new practices that will not just help you in your professional career, but that often does translate into your personal life as well. The other one I want to highlight is adding 20% per paycheck into my 401k for 2025. In my 2025 yearly goals video, I harped on how important it is to try to save up as much as you can when it comes to your savings, your investments, etc., etc. One of the first things I really want to take care of is making sure that I rebuild that emergency funds or that account again because it was so important to me, and I felt like if it wasn't for having these accounts, I probably wouldn't have been able to, I don't know, make 2024 happen or even just be here today. So immediately one of the first things I did was segregate my income from putting it into my investments, and then any of my take home just goes home with me. I think being able to segregate 20% of my paycheck into my 401k is a pretty big accomplishment, and I'm very proud of this one. Most of the other goals I have are actually reading goals, which like I said, I was able to get into like 7 or 8 books. I'm probably not going to get too deep into what books I actually read this month, but it feels pretty good. I was able to read around like 7 or 8 books already. It's always a really great accomplishment. I could read at least 5 books a month because it's not always easy being able to do that, especially now that I'm working. So some of the other goals I have set for the year is one being the car, which was a huge goal of mine. And even though it says 64.5%, I actually have a huge list of goals, or pardon me, a huge list of tasks for this specific goal because there were so many things I was looking into. I can't necessarily check this one off just yet because there are a few more tasks that I have to do in order to complete this goal. But if I were to actually just go back home and see what other goals I have actually set, other goals that I have is to release January Reset Notion video, which is exactly what this video is going to be about. So we can just kind of skip over this one until I actually release this and I can check this one off. I've also talked about downsizing my closet. I want to release one of my other creative videos as soon as possible, probably after this video. Another thing that I have here is travel to Dallas, Texas. I had to travel to Texas last week because initially I was trying to record this video last weekend, but I was getting myself ready to go to Texas for a whole week for some business relationships that I needed to develop. That was pretty fun because that was a new state and a new city that I visited for the first time, which I could probably include this into one of my goals. Oh yeah, I actually did tie it into my yearly goal, travel to a new city and state. So that was pretty neat. The reason why it only says 90%, even though I just came back from it, is I need to submit my reimbursement statement. So once that is done, I'm gonna hit complete. Another goal that I want to highlight really quickly is scheduling one-on-ones with colleagues. During my onboarding experience, I realized I had to set up my own goals rather than having them set for me, which is what typically happened at my older job. And I really like to have a lot more flexibility to do how I want to set my goals and how I want to drive my success in my career at my new job. So it's really important to me that I even have set up these one-on-one, but I highly recommend definitely connect and build relationships with your colleagues and managers, because whatever happens to you in your next career, having those relationships will really go pretty far, especially when you need a referral or you just want to make sure you have that good positive relationship, help yourself professionally and personally. I highly encourage that one. And then I have some of the other random things I talked about that pertains to some of my yearly goals, like downsizing my closet and decluttering my entire apartment. Ultimately, my plan is to move into a much larger space, so I definitely want to prioritize getting rid of as much stuff as possible. But I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to meet both of these goals. I'm not 100% sure if these goals are actually going to stay in January or if I'm actually going to move them into February, which actually, in fact, this might be a really good segue to go into the quarterly pages. So let's go into the January quarterly page. And if I scroll down and if I just move this to downsize my closet into the February column, if we open that up, you see how the due date says January 1st to January 31st? You're going to see in real time that it's going to change from February 1st to February 28th. This is one of my favorite features that I included in my template, which is changing the date automatically based on whichever month that you actually move into. This is that automated feature that I mentioned that's part of the Plus plans. But because on my template, it's made with the Plus plan, anyone that is on the free template will also get this automated feature as well. But let's actually go over to the affirmations corner, and I haven't really chosen which affirmation I want to go over today. I think for today, I want to maintain my calm, I want to control my emotions, and you know what? I'm actually feeling a lot of love for myself, so I am going to select that I am enough and that I am super proud of myself and I am going to be kind to myself and my needs. If you can't remember what the affirmations corner is about, I'm actually going to just get out of here and just go back to the home page. At the navigation bar, I have the affirmations page, and then here you have all of your affirmations that you submitted for the day. And every single time you come to your quarterly pages the next day, all these affirmation cards are going to disappear, and then a new set of affirmation card will be available once you populate it. And it's all going to be living in the repository of this affirmations page itself. And remember, the whole tracker is going to be here. So again, based on whichever affirmation you select, it's all totaling up right here at the affirmation goal tracker. And then you can see the overall progress of however much you've accomplished so far and the difference of how many affirmation goals you need to select for the year. Now, going back to the quarterly pages, let's take a look at my habit tracker, which is actually really sad, and I'm very embarrassed to even go over this one. But if you actually look at all of it, it's really embarrassing, like I said, because I have just not been able to prioritize my exercising as much as I'd like to, like the way I used to in the past. It's definitely a lot harder for me to even just prioritize my exercise routine now ever since I started working. Typically, I'm coming coming home really late, so I'm just so exhausted to even just do any type of exercise work after this, or mostly anytime after work. My reading goal typically stays the same. I did a lot of content recording, but I tried doing a lot more content that I was hoping to record in Texas, but because I was part of a work trip, I didn't get a lot of opportunity to do that. I did not study as much, and then these are my beauty goals that since I wasn't home, I haven't been able to take care of a lot of my beauty treatments that I usually do daily. And unfortunately, my journaling did fall off, which I'm super sad about. I feel like it's getting really dark. I feel like I need to change my setting a little bit. Okay, I have to change my setting a little bit because I felt like it was getting dark and I couldn't even see myself. Now that I'm home and I'll be back in my normal routine, hopefully I can get back on track with doing a lot of the goals and a lot of habit tracking that I typically try to complete by the end of the day. And if we were to look at the habit analytics tracker, you can see there is a pretty stark difference between where the progression has been from December to January. Again, it's only the 18th of January, so I know I still have a little bit more time. But overall, I think it's looking okay. Again, hopefully next week it's going to look a little better. And again, I'm just gonna blame the Texas trip. Okay, so getting out of that, we're actually gonna touch on my healthy habits tracker too. I wanna see how I actually did this month. It's okay. I think most importantly for me, as long as I'm limiting my sweets and my snack intake is the most important thing when it comes to my habit. And again, with my healthy habits tracker, there's nothing really new to report on this. It's usually my normal tracker analytics, nothing major to highlight. But something that I really wanna show you while I'm actually here is how to set up a monthly goal from your yearly goals template. I probably don't think I ever showed this to you in one of my other videos. So for example, let's go ahead and create a new series for my YouTube channel. So I'm just gonna open up that yearly goal, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna head down to your monthly goals section, and then you're just gonna click into new page here, or just new, and then you're just gonna select that, and you can directly type into this part in order to set up your monthly goal. So for this one, I'm gonna call this one, and then we're gonna select January. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna select January, and then like I said, that due date is gonna automatically populate. But yeah, you just saw that in real time. Below that, you can start typing out all of the tasks that actually pertain to this goal. So things that I want to set up for this one: start writing out a script of things I want to discuss. And you can just select random due dates. So I'm just going to select the 28th and just, I don't know, the 30th. Just to show you as an example, because this monthly goal is living directly into that yearly goal. If you click that yearly goal and you scroll down, that goal is now going to be directly living into this yearly goals template. Since I like to set up an image, and I don't know if you guys kind of noticed that I really like floral themes, so we're just going to type in floral and see what kind of comes up. And if we could just go back to that yearly goal, you're going to see all those goals again populating right here at the very, and then any of the tasks that are related to this yearly goal, they're all going to populate here at the tasks to complete section. And something that I really want to mention while we're here, when you open up all of the properties in the yearly goals template, I'm gonna have right here called tasks do not delete. Again, I highly recommend that you just do not delete this property, and the reason why is because this property right here is actually calculating all the number of the tasks that are also all living in the task to complete section. So what it's doing is actually rolling up all of the tasks that are from all of your monthly goals under the specific yearly goals, and it's actually providing that percentage into this task progress section. This is probably not the best example, so let me just get out of this one so that way I can show you what this actually looks like. We'll just click the complete 30, 60, 90 day onboarding one for work. If you scroll below, right? And let me see what's under the complete section. Okay, so I have a whole list of completed tasks. All of this, right? All these tasks are actually rolling up to the task progress bar here. So it's really important that you do not delete this, because if you delete it, then none of the tasks are actually going to roll up. None of the percentage of whether you completed it, whether if it's actually calculating it or not, it's just not going to roll up. So please, like I said, don't delete it. You will very much regret deleting it because I accidentally did it while I was developing my template, and that was a huge mistake. But I think we are at the very end of all of my goals I set for January 2025. Hopefully you found this video entertaining or informative for you when it comes to setting up your goals for January of 2025. I really hope you're enjoying the template that I created for the year. It's definitely something that I'm so proud of. I really hope that you found this video really informative for you, and hopefully you were able to get something out of it, and also some ideas on how to set up your goals that you are thinking about setting up for your future. If you have anything that you want me to explain better of, or have any questions, feel free to leave those comments in the comment section below, and I will get to them as soon as possible. As always, one of the best ways that you can support me is subscribing to my channel and downloading my templates. Even though I just recorded this video, I'm already looking forward to recording another Notion video, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. But until then, hopefully I'll see you again, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!